What shapes the future of a nation more? The Philippines also emerged as a regional leader in education during the late 20th century, with a well-established public school and university system. And by the early 21st century, the country had one of the highest literacy rates in Asia. From the revolutionary ideals of Act No. 74, January 21, 1901, to the transformative policies of today's K-12 program. These legal milestones are more than just ink on paper. They are the lifeblood of a nation striving to empower its citizens. How did these laws come to be? What forces shaped them, and what do they reveal about us as people? In this documentary, we journey through time, uncovering the stories behind the statutes, the vision behind the changes, and the legacy we continue to build. This is the story of the Philippine educational system, from where history meets hope and law meets learning. Act No. 74 of January 1901, an important work of law created by the U.S. during the Spanish-American War, was passed in 1901. This legislation laid the foundations for a national public education system in the Philippines and resulted in the establishment of the Philippine Normal School. For the first time, Filipinos from every class, regardless of their gender or financial standing, have access to education. The government aimed to overcome linguistic barriers among the Philippines' numerous linguistic groups by establishing English as the main language of teaching. The curriculum was designed to foster critical thinking and scientific reasoning, with subjects that promoted logical thought and inquiry. It wasn't just about academic knowledge. Practical subjects like agriculture, carpentry, and home economics were added, marking a significant departure from the religiously dominated education system of the Spanish colonial era. This shift in education was pivotal, as it provided Filipinos with the tools to think critically and engage with the changing world, all while promoting equality and opportunity for generations to come. Jumping ahead a few years to martial law, two words that carry the weight of history. In 1972, President Ferdinand Marcos issued the Presidential Decree 6A, also known as Educational Decree No. 6A. The goal? To reshape the Philippine education system to meet the political and economic demands of the time under martial law. The government's vision was clear: a nationalistic education, one that championed patriotism, moral principles, and discipline. But beneath the surface of these lofty ideals lay a more contentious reality. Critics pointed to the decree's darker implications, raising concerns over its true impact on modernizing education and fostering national unity. The educational system under martial law became a tool for control, stifling intellectual independence. In the long term, Educational Decree No. 6A shaped an entire generation, a generation educated under the shadow of an authoritarian regime. Emphasis was placed on obedience, nationalism, and conformity, while intellectual inquiry was pushed aside. After martial law, the Philippines embarked on a path of significant reform and rebuilding, a process that unfolded in the years that followed. Under the leadership of President Corazon Aquino, a new constitution was crafted, laying the groundwork for a nation ready to embrace change.
The 1987 Philippine Constitution, Article 14, Sections 1 to 5, Subsection 5, objectives were clear: provide access to quality education for every Filipino, sparks innovation in science and technology, promote the rich heritage of Filipino culture, and foster the spirit of sports for public health. The result? Over 3 decades later, these provisions still reverberate through policies that expand educational access, preserve cultural traditions, push the boundaries of innovation, and encourage a healthier, more active population. Education is not only about classrooms and lessons. It's about the people within those walls, especially the students who are often overlooked in the decision-making process. For years, students in the Philippines fought for their basic rights and representation. This struggle led to the call for the Magna Carta for Students.
The Magna Carta for Students, also known as the Student Rights and Welfare Bill, was introduced by student groups advocating for a law that would protect their rights and ensure fair treatment. In response to years of discrimination and lack of student representation in decision-making bodies, the bill aimed to address key issues in education. The bill's main goal was to guarantee access to quality education, the freedom to organize, and the right to participate in school policy decisions. Meanwhile, the Magna Carta for Teachers, also known as the Republic Act No. 4670, was signed into law in 1966. Republic Act No. 4670 was introduced to address the underappreciation and struggles faced by teachers. Issued by the Philippine government, this law aimed to improve teachers' working conditions, their salaries, and their rights, recognizing their vital role in shaping the future of the nation. Both the Magna Carta for Teachers and the Magna Carta for Students were issued to improve the education system in the Philippines. With these laws, the country took a significant step toward building an inclusive and respectful environment for both educators and learners, working together to shape a brighter future. Along with the Magna Carta, the rights to have a quality education for all Filipinos, the Education Act of 1982 was published for the alignment of private and public schools to follow the quality and equity of education and the alternative learning system that promotes reaching out of school youth and adults, addressing the needs of those who cannot access traditional schools. The Act is still important today because it sets an example for later reforms like the K-12 program and still serves as an illustration for laws that support education's vital role in both individual and societal growth.
Talking about quality and accessibility for all Filipinos, the Department of Education is the one responsible for handling such things. However, like any institution, DepEd has its limits. As the need for more specialized educational oversight grew, it became clear that higher education required a distinct focus. This led to the creation of the Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, an independent agency established through the Educational Act of 1994 or Republic Act No. 7722. CHED's mandate to oversee the higher education system in the Philippines, ensuring quality standards, academic freedom, and fostering the global competitiveness of Filipino graduates. While DepEd is tasked with shaping the foundation of education, focusing on basic learning for children, CHED stands at the helm of tertiary education, empowering universities to innovate, expand, and prepare students for the global stage. Yet, as the demands of the education system continue to evolve, another landmark law would come into play, further reshaping the landscape of education in the Philippines: the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. Despite efforts to improve education, the system remained highly centralized, with decision-making and resources controlled from the top down. This often led to delays in addressing local needs and limited schools' ability to adapt to the diverse challenges of their communities. In 2001, a transformative law was passed, the Governance of Basic Education Act, or Republic Act No. 9155. This landmark legislation aimed to bring about a revolution in how education is governed, shifting from centralized control to decentralized governance, giving schools and local communities the power to shape education based on their unique needs.
With all the changes and rebuilding and improvements made, the Philippines was one of the last countries in the world with a 10-year basic education program, which hindered the global competitiveness of Filipino students and professionals, making Filipino graduates underqualified for international jobs. One of the groundbreaking reformations made for improvement was Republic Act No. 10533, Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. It introduced us to the K-12 program that gave us 10 to 12 years of added basic education that made the system align with the international standard. This program's aim is to prepare students for higher education and equip them with essential skills. Complex education, making it more research-based, learning-centered, and adding work immersion to prepare them for future job opportunities, and enhancing education aligned with peers worldwide, making Filipinos competitive globally. The Philippine Statistics Authority reported that 54.3% of K-12 graduates who entered the workforce in 2022 were employed in jobs aligned with their specialized tracks, showcasing the program's effectiveness in bridging education and employment. Additionally, a survey by the Department of Education revealed that 93% of students felt more prepared for college and career opportunities after completing senior high school. This approach has not only empowered learners but also reduced dropout rates, with DepEd reporting a 4% improvement in retention rates in senior high schools nationwide from 2017 to 2021. As the program continues to evolve, its lasting impact is clear: a generation of globally competitive, career-ready, and holistically developed Filipinos equipped to navigate and succeed in an ever-changing world. Although the program brought a lot of advantages and improvements for the system, there were backlashes and disadvantages that came with this. Some are the concerns of the families due to the added cost it brings, the years added, and the school resources, along with the added mental stress for students and teachers. With that being said, to promote, protect, and integrate mental health services into the public healthcare system, a newly established law was made to help: Republic Act No. 11036, or the Mental Health Act of 2018.
The Mental Health Act of 2018 was created to establish an integrated mental health framework in the Philippines, ensuring that mental health services are accessible, affordable, and equitable for all Filipinos. With rising rates of untreated mental health conditions, including a 3.2% prevalence of depressive disorders and an annual suicide rate of 5.4 per 100,000, the law emphasized reducing stigma, increasing awareness, and providing immediate assistance through initiatives like 24/7 suicide prevention hotlines. However, implementation gaps persist, with only 0.5 mental health professionals per 100,000 population, and many community health centers continue to face funding and infrastructure challenges. Despite these hurdles, the Mental Health Act remains a critical step toward improving the quality of life and mental wellness of all Filipinos.
What is the matatag curriculum all about? The implementing guidelines on the school calendar and activities for the school year 2023 to 2024 is the name of this policy. It acts as an essential foundation to help schools all around the country organize their academic calendars, establish priorities, and guarantee that education is delivered in a balanced and efficient manner. Who publishes these implementing guidelines? It was published by the Department of Education of the Philippines. It is part of the administration's K-12 curriculum reform under the Basic Education Development Plan 2030. This curriculum was designed to address learning gaps, enhance foundational skills such as literacy and numeracy, and reduce the congestion of the previous K-10 curriculum, ensuring a more focused and efficient education system. The Matatag curriculum was officially launched in 2023 and reflects DepEd's commitments to delivering quality and relevant education to Filipino learners. This order, aligned with the Basic Education Development Plan 2030, optimizes teaching, learning, and learner well-being. Starting in August, it provides a detailed schedule for class days, holidays, and activities, ensuring proper time allocation for academic and socio-emotional growth. Section 10 of DepEd Order No. 2023 serves as a comprehensive guide for teachers, parents, and students. The Matatag curriculum transforms Philippine education by enhancing foundational skills like reading and numeracy, addressing the congestion of the previous K-10 curriculum. By focusing on essential competencies, it promotes deeper learning, better time management for teachers, and integration of 21st century skills for modern readiness. The Matatag curriculum, introduced in 2023, addresses critical challenges in Philippine education highlighted by alarming statistics. A 2021 World Bank report revealed that 91% of Filipino children under 10 could not read or comprehensible text, indicating severe learning poverty. The trends in international mathematics and science study ranked Filipino students among the least proficient globally in math and science. The previous K-12 curriculum, burdened with over 15,000 competencies, led to superficial learning. These issues were exacerbated by COVID-19 school closures, causing significant learning losses, higher dropout rates, and a 7.7% high school graduation rate, as reported by the Philippine Statistics Authority.
The Department of Education issued DepEd Order No. 21, Series 2020, in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, in order to ensure that students may continue their education in spite of the difficulties presented by the pandemic. This edict sought to direct the educational system as it made the shift to remote learning. The directive was released as a result of the nationwide school closures brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. In order to ensure that education could continue when face-to-face classes were discontinued, DepEd had to establish alternate learning approaches, such as online, modular, and broadcast-based learning. One of the main goals of DepEd Order No. 21, Series 2020, was to put into practice efficient remote learning strategies while maintaining teacher and student safety. The order established online and modular learning frameworks, backed by teacher training and learning material delivery mechanisms. In order to guarantee a seamless transition, it also emphasized cooperation between educators, parents, and students. Eventually, the order resulted in a rapid increase of digital resources usage in classrooms, which made blended learning an essential component of the Philippine educational system. In addition to continuing education during the pandemic, the move to online learning has increased accessibility and flexibility in the educational process. But issues like access to technology and internet connectivity still exist, particularly in rural places. In order to guarantee that schooling continued during the pandemic, 2020 was essential. Even while the transition to distant learning presented difficulties, it also changed the course of the Philippine education, making it more accessible and flexible for all students.